obviously, I have changed. So, I had to go back and look at my previous video, but I haven't recorded anything since September. So a lot has happened. Obviously I've had my stem cell transplant by the fact that I do have hair. You can see it's growing back. But it's growing back about 6-ish weeks before it should really start growing back. So I take that as a win. Excuse me, I am all bundled up. We've had a cold snap here in Texas, and by cold snap I mean we're where we should be temperature wise, but we haven't been for like a week. So I consider it a cold snap. If AccuWeather is accurate in their 45-day forecast, which this is Texas, so that could change. If they're accurate, basically February and March's temperatures have switched. So February is going to feel more like March, and March is going to feel more like February. That'll be interesting. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Some people are like, no, I want it back in the 70s. I'm like, it's way too early for it to be in the 70s. That worries me if it stays in the 70s right now, because that means we're going to have a scorching summer, which we already feel like we are on the surface of hell in the summer. I don't need to feel like that even more so. So yeah, I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. So what all has happened? I did all of my pre-op stem cell stuff. I haven't even talked to you guys since I had the PET scan in October. PET scan in October showed no cancer in my system. So is it possible that those 4 chemo treatments and 2 Acetrus treatments killed all the cancer because there was so much minimal cancer in my system? Yes, it is possible. But to be safe, we went ahead and did the stem cell transplant, which was recommended by all doctors. So we went ahead and did it. And that process was interesting. I may see, I recorded it on Instagram. I kind of did daily updates on Instagram from the hospital. And I have a TikTok. I can't believe I have a TikTok, but I have a TikTok. I was never interested in it. And then I got on there when some of the people that I follow on Instagram were like, the videos can be longer on TikTok. It's just easier in some ways to do it on TikTok. So I was like, oh. So I ended up putting some stuff on TikTok. And then, so I did the stem cell transplant. I did a bunch of videos of while I was in the hospital. And then the chemo, the high dose chemo, actually wasn't that bad. The etopside, which I got for 4 days, after the first day, we kind of got a really good regimen down with it. It did make me a little nauseous, but we figured out if you gave me Zofran in the morning, Ativan in the afternoon, Zofran again early evening, and then Ativan again before I went to bed, I had no problems with it. And that was pretty much my regimen going forward until I was released from the hospital. So it's what we did every day until I was released. I am so sorry. I'll explain why I'm kind of tired right now in a little bit. So I had my chemo. That really wasn't bad. It was really, once my levels, which they kind of expected, we didn't fully expect. Once my levels got down to 0. So once my white count, my ANC, all of that went down to 0. Meaning that the chemo had done what it was supposed to do, which is kill everything. And then they reintroduced my stem cells to me. I slept a lot, and I didn't eat much. It was a rough go. Mom was worried I wasn't going to be out by Christmas because I went in later than I was supposed to. So I lived at my parents' house for middle to beginning of November through until right before New Year's. So the actual process I went through smoothly, and I'll tell you that part in a minute. So I was supposed to be admitted the week before Thanksgiving, or the week of Thanksgiving. Day before Thanksgiving. I was supposed to be admitted the day before Thanksgiving, which was only 3 days after my stem cell retrieval. So we had been told by the doctor that I wouldn't be admitted till a week after, to give my system time to recover, because that wipes out your stem cells, which I don't really understand why you have to come in with a low normal ANC when they're about to kill everything, but whatever. They do this all the time, so I'm guessing there's a reason for it. Doesn't make sense to me. Didn't make sense to my best friend who's a doctor. Even the nurses on that ward, it didn't make sense. But he is one of the best in the business. My doctor is. I mean, he's written for MD Anderson policies and procedures on how to do the stem cell transplants. So he is literally one of the best in the system, or in the industry. But I just was very confused. So 2 days after, my body hadn't recovered enough from the stem cell retrieval to have what they wanted for my ANC. So they sent me home. They're like, at least you get to have Thanksgiving at home. And I was like, dude, we did Thanksgiving this weekend. Like, we're not going to do Thanksgiving again. So I don't remember what we did, but we did something else. And so I didn't go in until the next Wednesday. Safe to say I was a little angry because there was a good chance that I wasn't going to be home by Christmas. They were going to do everything they possibly could to get me home by Christmas. But there was a good chance I wasn't going to be home by Christmas. Which really upset me because Christmas is my favorite holiday. And by home, I mean home to my parents' house. So, fast forward, the next week I get admitted. I start chemo the day after I'm admitted. I kind of fly through that. And then they do the stem cell transplant. I, in my chemo journey, have never, knock on so much wood, have never thrown up. We almost broke that the day of the stem cell reinsertion. Un momento. Oh, so I was at, so on the day of my reintroduction or something like that, of my stem cells, we thought I was going to break my Jamie has not thrown up since I started chemo. A year before that. So luckily the nurse, I had a pro that had been doing this for 20 years, and she was just like, she saw me, I guess I turned green a little bit before I even started to say, and then I turned really green because Mom was there with me, and she was in the hospital room, and she said, "Are you gonna throw up?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And as she said that, she was putting anti-nausea medicine in my IV. She was like, "You're gonna go to sleep now." And I was like, "Okay." And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and I wasn't nauseous anymore, and that was good. And so she gave me a full milligram of Ativan, I think. Or she gave me Compazine. One of the two. Full milligram of Ativan can make me sleep. Half a milligram makes me dozy. So I doze a lot when they give me half a milligram. But a full milligram will just make me go to sleep. Like a full on nap. And then, so I did that. And then the days after that, so they did December 7th was when they put in the stem cells. I was released 17th or the 18th, whatever that Monday was. It was either the 17th or the 18th. 11 days later. My doctor said he knew I was going to do well. He did not know I was going to do that well and recover that quickly. So normally after a stem cell transplant, your magnesium, your potassium, that kind of stuff can be low. Mine was low in the hospital, but once they kind of infused me with stuff, it was fine. So I have not had to have an infusion. There's a caveat to that. An infusion for magnesium or potassium or electrolytes since I've gotten out of the hospital. I did have an infusion last week. It did not go well. So I had an infusion last week of an antibiotic. I have no, as I said in my previous video, I have no immunity towards anything. And I guess there is a fungal pneumonia that's around this time of year that especially attacks people with weakened immune systems. And it's hard to detect and it's hard to treat. And almost always results in a hospitalization, which I don't want to do. So they prophylactically are giving me antibiotics so I can't get it. So even if somebody has it and they're around me, even though I'm wearing a mask anytime I'm outside, if they have it and I happen to have my mask down to take a drink or something and they cough, I won't get it. Like basically with the antibiotic in me, it kills me before it doesn't kill me. No, that would be bad. It kills the pneumonia before it can take hold in my system. So I have to do, so I had that infusion last Monday. And we've pretty much learned that if a doctor says, "No, I've had some patients have a reaction, not a lot, but some," that means this one's going to have a reaction to it. So I did. And by the end of it, the PA, which is the physician's assistant, which is, they went to school for 2 years instead of 4. She came down and she goes, "Well, you're not going to be on that anymore." So that was my only infusion. It'll last a month, and then they're going to put me on oral antibiotics. They had me on oral before the infusion. It was a pill, Bactrim, but it lowered my ANC too much. And so they're putting me on a oral liquid, which won't lower my ANC. Which I don't know why. I do know why they didn't put me on it, but it stinks. They didn't put me on it because apparently it tastes horrific. And it's kind of a last resort of what they're putting. It's a last resort of them um, doing that antibiotic or doing an antibiotic. And they don't like to do it because people are not as compliant with it because it tastes horrible. And part of me was like, well, the allergy stuff you have me on, because again, I have immunity to nothing. So even environmental allergies that I had immunities towards, I don't have anymore. I am worse than a newborn baby right now. Like a newborn baby at least has normally some immunities from their mother that they get and all that kind of stuff. I have none of that. So I am worse than a newborn baby right now. So she has me on this allergy stuff. It tastes horrible, but you know, I take it because my allergies are horrific. And I am now a severe asthmatic because I had asthma before this, but I had it pretty well controlled. Not anymore. I take puffs on my asthma inhaler least normally once a day, if not 2 to 3 times a day. So yeah, there's that. And then what else? Oh, I just got my COVID vaccine and my flu vaccine this weekend. So Super Bowl weekend was a miserable one for me, which also happened to be my birthday was on Friday. So I got my injections on Saturday because I wanted a good birthday. And we went out for steak and everything. It was fun. And then what else did I do? Oh, so it was a horrible weekend. I had full body aches, full body chills. It wasn't fun. I'm still kind of sore right now. But it's now digressed to a, hey, we worked out hard, maybe we just take it chill today kind of ache feeling. So I should be fine by tomorrow. Still feel like a step behind, which COVID always makes me feel like that. If you're an anti-vaxxer or you don't believe in vaccines, just please don't say anything. Because remember, I have no immunity, which means, especially as an asthmatic, those two things can land me in the hospital very easily. So then there's that. Then what else do I have? My hair's growing back. My eyebrows are already back, and they're very dark, but they're already back. And eyelashes are about halfway back. I still have some like really long eyelashes that didn't fall out, and then I have nubs that are growing back in. So, looks like they're gonna be very thick and dark too, which is good. And then what else? No tattoos, no piercings until after December, which I understand they want me to have the Tdap vaccine. So I get all of my other vaccines besides COVID and flu. So COVID and flu I'll get again in the fall. But other than COVID and flu, I get all the rest of my vaccines. So Tdap, polio, pneumonia, Shingrix, one of the hepatitis, I think it's B, possibly Gardasil. That's up to my OB-GYN on whether he wants to do that or not. I think there's another one in there somewhere. I think there's a total of 9. I get those starting in December. And I get it at 12, 14, and 16 months. Except for Shingrix. Shingrix, which is for shingles and chickenpox, is only at 12 and 14. The other ones are at 12, 14, and 16. And I was like, oh, so it's pediatric doses. No. These are full-blown adult vaccines. So this girl, I looked at the PA when she told me that, and I said, so I'm not going to feel good. She was like, no, you're not. not for a couple days. You're gonna feel horrific. And I was like, fantastic. Yay. In addition to that, I am also I'm having a hysterectomy in April. Ovaries were not as dead as we thought they were, but they're also not functioning like they should be. So they're mostly dead, but the part that's still functioning isn't functioning correctly now. So it's a full-blown hyst. To which point we will be talking about mastectomy or not, as triple negative breast cancer has increased, which is the breast cancer that is not genetic. Like, there's, even if you have the BRCA gene or not, you can get it. And normally it's people without the BRCA gene get it. It's the hardest to kill. I would rather just go ahead and let's do like, if he thinks I'm at risk for it, let's just go ahead and do a mastectomy and be done with it. I don't want to do this again. So, you know, I know it's a big surgery, but I'd rather do a big surgery than have to go through chemotherapy again. Also, what I didn't know the last time I did a video, and what we have now found out, I'm not done with infusions. I am done with chemotherapy. I am not done with immunotherapy. So I have immunotherapy for 6 months to 6 months to a year. See, that's the COVID right there. I'm a step behind. 6 months to a year. So I have to do a CTRIS every 3 weeks for 6 months to a year. They prefer a year, but because of everything that's been done with my system, there is a chance my system will only tolerate 6 months. And if that's the case, that's fine. But they would prefer a year. Which means I'll have it until May or June of next year. Not entirely sure when we're starting that. So we're starting it either May or June of this year. So, what else do I know? I think that's all. I think that's my main updates. Like I said, hair is growing back. You can see it's growing back in different stages. So like the sides, really long, well, not really long, but really longer, longish, much more visible. Then the top is, and I don't know if it's just because the sides lay down, so it's easier, versus the top has to have a lot more weight in order for it to lay down. But, I mean, like, you can feel it. It's there. The back is still the slowest to come in. It's coming in, but it's the slowest to come in. Which is where most, even so, I had hair thinning due to the bendamustine in September and October, which is the chemotherapy that I was getting 2 days in a row. I had hair thinning, and again, it thinned from back here. So, which is not uncommon in women. So, looks like that's going to take the longest to come back, which is okay. As I said, I have a very good wig, so whatever. And I'm getting more and more comfortable just having my head out. So, and then you can see, like, there are like random spots, like these really shiny spots, like right here, that are just, they're coming in. They're just coming in at different stages, which hair grows at different stages. So it looks like these areas were at a different stage when the hair fell out than it is now coming back. So, you know, is what it is. Other than that, the camera has like a red spot there, which is not in real life. I don't ever see that. You know, things show up on the camera that I don't ever see in real life, and I'm like, what is that? And then I go look in the mirror and it's not there. So, yay! Oh, I have a jawline now. You can see I have like a jawline. So, Metabolic syndrome is slowly/rapidly, considering it could take a year for it to resolve, more rapidly resolving. It's starting from here and moving its way down. Do I wish it had started from the bottom and moved its way up? Yes. But it hasn't, which stinks because it's, as the top is coming off, it's accentuating the middle now. So that kind of stinks. But it is what it is. And I think those are my main updates. I think that's all I've got for you. As I said, it's been about 4 months and a lot has happened. So, energy. I am cleared to work out, so I do that most days. It's been about Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. And I'll probably end up back at the gym tomorrow, but I wasn't willing, as I'm still kind of sore after my vaccines. I didn't want to go today, so I'm gonna go tomorrow, and then I'll just I kind of go every day. I change what I do every day. It's just to not wear the body out. But I do walking. I actually hit my first 10,000 steps since all of this started. Not since like last December, but since the stem cell and stuff. I hit my first 10,000 steps on my birthday, so on Friday. And I felt good. I mean, I was tired, but I felt good. So we're hoping to kind of keep that trend going. I didn't intentionally hit my 10,000 steps. I'd been cleaning around my house, and then I had gone down to the gym and was talking to people, texting back and forth. And time flies when you're on the treadmill, because every other day I just walk on the treadmill at a good clip, and on an incline, but I just walk to give myself a break, and then I weight lift / do the elliptical. I have to be careful on the elliptical because it can activate my asthma, but / do the elliptical, and so I do that every other day. So I do a full body. I don't do legs one day, arms one day. I just do full body. And then what else did I do? I think that's all I've got. I think that's all I've done. So yeah, that's where we're at. And then, but yeah, I hit my first 10,000 steps on Friday. So hoping to keep that trend up. We'll see. I mean, it may be like 7 one day, 10 the next, as we are building ourselves back up. I'm trying to be a very good and compliant patient and not overdo it like they have told me to. Because if I knock myself down, it'll take me a while to get myself back up. So, I'm trying to be a good, compliant patient, which is not always easy for me, but I'm trying. So, other than that, that's all I've got for you. So, maybe I'll film tomorrow as I clean up the disaster of my place, because it is a disaster, but I haven't been able to really move for 3 days, so there is that. Other than that, I hope everybody had a great Super Bowl weekend. Go Chiefs. Although I would have been fine, truthfully, if either team had won. So, but go Chiefs. I'm impressed. So I hope everybody has a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.